Hello friends, this is Melody. We are recording a sparkly purple eyes makeup tutorial with the full face as well. So we're going to start off with a primed face. Make sure to put on your sunscreen every day. So I just did the blogger focus thing that doesn't work on iPhones with my Too Faced Shadow Insurance eyeshadow primer. So I dotted about that much and now I'm applying it all over my eyelids and a little bit underneath the eyes for that inner corner highlight. And I'm making sure to use my ring finger to apply the eyeshadow primer, as that finger is the weakest and applies the least pressure around your eyes. The same trick applies to applying your eye cream. It is best to use your ring finger to do that as well. So now that we are done with the first step, we are moving on to eyeshadow. I have this old Tarte eyeshadow palette. I'm actually using the blush as the blending shade to put onto my eyes first. I learned this trick from another YouTuber, and I definitely feel like it makes for a much more seamless eyeshadow look. Since I'm doing a darker eyeshadow look, I'm making sure to put on more blending shade on each side, and I'm also looking at both sides closer towards the light to make sure that the pigmentation is the same. Next, I'm breaking out my newest palette. It is the Aether Purple Crystal palette. There's legitimately crushed crystals in there. I don't know how they did that, but it's been a very fun palette to play around with. I'm using that shade first to do in the outer third of the eye. And when I'm applying this first shade on the outer third, I try to do it closer to the lash line so you can blend it upwards easily. So again, I'm comparing both sides to make sure the pigmentation is even, applying more on each side as needed. It is always easier to apply much less in the first rounds and to blend that out versus doing a huge swath of eyeshadow and then trying to blend that out afterwards. The color blends and builds much more easily if you're applying it gradually like this. So now I'm going back in with my fluffier brush to apply more of the blending shade. And now I'm going back to my palette to darken the look a bit. I'm going to use that darker eyeshadow and apply very, very small bits so that it blends out very easily again. As you can see, this part takes a little time as well. Make sure that you're adding it gradually and building it so that you'll have a flawless look. And now I'm going back again with my fluffy brush for blending. And now the outer third is done. Now I'm going to pull out my Too Faced chocolate palette and using this light pink shade as the base for my sparkly purple shade. I'm going to be applying that to the middle and inner corners of my lid. So now I'm applying that shiny purple shade that I mentioned on top. It's not super pigmented, which is why I like to add the pink as a base to make it pop a little more. So now I'm applying it everywhere that I had applied the pink eyeshadow from earlier. My left eye is a little bit hooded, so I always seem to get eyeshadow underneath there. Every time I need to make sure I need to wipe it away. Alright, now we're moving on to the inner corner highlight. I'm using this highlighter stick from Thrive Cosmetics. It's a brightening stick in a champagne gold color. So I'm applying it to the inner corner, a little bit above, and then a third of the way in on the lower part of my eye. Alright, so now we're done with the eyeshadow. We're going to be moving on to eyeliner. I am finding my favorite eyeliner, which is sadly discontinued, is the Too Faced Sketch Marker in black. My favorite since it has a felt tip and it's pretty thick, since I do a pretty thick cat eye. So I've practiced for years with liquid eyeliner, but as you can see in the video, I'm taking a lot of small strokes. I'm never just doing one long stroke. But for my right eye, I do small strokes outwards to form the shape and a little wing of the cat eye. And if you look closely, I'm using my pinky as a kickstand. Also learned that as a fun tip from YouTube. That helps steady the hand as I'm drawing the eyeliner. So for my left eye, I like to go outside in. Don't know why that I like to do it in different directions, but this seems to work well since both my eyes have slightly different shapes as well. And on my left eye, I tend to do a thicker line and it shows up about the same as my right eye. So make sure you know how the eyeliner appears on both your eyes. I did the eyeliner a little thicker than I'd like to on my left eye, but that's okay. Just try to balance it out, which I will do with my right eye. And you can see there I'm comparing both eyes to make sure the line is of similar thickness. As I mentioned, the left eye is a little bit thicker, so I'm adding more to the right side. But make sure to not go too crazy, even if you're a little bit off on both sides, because otherwise you're going to end up with really thick eyeliner. And now we're moving on to brows. I love using my Benefit Goof Proof eyebrow pencil in the shade 6. I do feel like the shape is really good since the tip is pointed, which can help form lines, but it also fills in a good amount of area since it's not just a thin pencil. So I start off by filling in the inside of the brows and slowly work outwards. It's a little cut off, but I usually like to form an outline of the brows, especially the top line of the brows, and then fill in the insides. Moving on to the left brow, it's the same thing. I start at the inside, now you have a good view, and I use the spoolie end to blend it as I go to make sure it's an even color and there's not too many pronounced thick lines. So I'm outlining both the top and the bottom, blending it out, making sure the middle is filled. Alright, now the brows are almost there. I'm now using Benefit's Precise pencil to sharpen any edges that need it and like any small sparse areas that need more filling. It's especially good for making sure your eyebrows have a precise point at the end. Alright, brows are done. Next we're moving on to foundation. I use the bareMinerals BAREPRO Pressed Powder Foundation in Sandstone. I love that bareMinerals has made a pressed foundation since it's much less messy than the loose one. And I'm using a Real Techniques face brush to do that. So now I'm just blending it all over and then adding more where it needs more coverage. I have a lot of hyperpigmentation from previous breakouts, so it is great for that, and it's great for layering on little by little. Alright, now foundation is applied. I'm now using a large fluffy brush, also from Real Techniques, to blend it all out. Make sure it's even. Alright, and then next is concealer. This is concealer from RMS Beauty. I like to do concealer after foundation since this is a cream product and it sits well nicely on top of the powder product. And now, so I'm dabbing it on the under eyes, still using the ring finger, and then I'm going to use it to cover up any blemishes that I have. Alright, so the concealer covered up a little bit of the inner corner highlight, so I'm reapplying that right now. And now we're moving on to bronzer. I like to use this Tarte palette. It has a really nice bronzer section right there. That's a nice cool toned one, very neutral, not too orangey. So I'm using a small fluffy brush and finding the contours of my cheeks. It's helpful to add more to right by the edge of your cheek and then blend it forwards to create that line. That way you're not going to have random spots. And now I'm using the big fluffy brush to give it a little blend. And now I'm going back to that first Tarte palette, use the same blush that I use as my blending shade for my eyeshadow as my actual blush. So using the same brush as well, applying that on the apples of my cheeks in a parallel line to the bronzer that I applied. And I do really like this blush since it's pretty contouring in addition to adding some color to the face. Now I'm giving it another blend with the big fluffy brush. And now I'm digging for my lipstick in my big makeup bag. Success! I found my Bite Beauty liquid lipstick in Candied. I believe they've discontinued these and remade them into a different line. But I love this bright pink color that it goes well along with the purple eyeshadow. And the applicator is great on this as long as you wipe off the excess lipstick. It's great to outline and also fill in the lips. I put on a little too much lipstick. These products are great pigmentation, but it's pretty intense against the purple eyeshadow. Next time I will blend it out better for a more balanced look. All right, now I'm finished with lipstick. That's the final step. Now I am done with this look. Now I'll bring you guys up to the direct light so you can get a better look at it. Look at that shiny purple eyeshadow. So fun. Thank you so much for watching my first makeup tutorial. See you next time.